Talk to counsel. Her messages came quickly after that. Guilt, excuses, sudden affection. I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. I just left the conversation unfinished, like our marriage. Weeks went by. The house grew quieter, somehow lighter. The boys returned home, and I stuck to my simple routine. Breakfast, work, dinner, stories before bed. I didn't tell them the truth, not yet. Kids shouldn't bear their parents' mistakes. But when I looked in the mirror, I saw someone changed. Not bitter, just awake. In those quiet mornings, I realized something vital. Betrayal doesn't define you unless you let it. Pain can build walls, or it can forge resolve. I chose the latter. The day the divorce papers arrived, I signed without hesitation. No anger, no sadness, just peace. She called once more, voice trembling. Do you hate me? I drew a long breath. No, I said softly. I don't hate you. I just don't know you anymore. Before hanging up, she whispered. He left me. I didn't reply. Some silences are kinder than words. That night, I walked outside into the same backyard where it all began. The air was cool, the stars bright. The kind of night that makes you believe in second chances, not with someone else, but with yourself. For the first time in months, I felt steady. Because the truth was simple. She broke something that was already cracking. I just finally saw it for what it was. And in that realization, I didn't lose a wife. I found it by chance. The trash bag was half open, tied carelessly like she'd been in a rush. I wasn't snooping. I was just tidying up after dinner. The sight of that white plastic stick, hidden under paper towels, stopped me cold. It took me a moment to register what it was. The faint blue line, the second stripe, positive. For a few seconds, my brain refused to accept it. I just stood there holding the bag, staring like blinking would erase it. But it didn't. 2 blue lines. Positive. Pregnant. And that's when the impossible hit me. I'd had a vasectomy 3 years ago. I remembered the sterile room, the cold table, the nervous laugh I gave the doctor when he said, "You're officially retired." We agreed no more kids. We had 2 already. Both boys, enough to fill the house with chaos and laughter. She had insisted on it, wanted to feel free again. So a positive test wasn't just strange. It was betrayal screaming in blue ink. I set the trash bag down gently, like it might explode, and walked out to the backyard. The air was warm, but suddenly it felt hard to breathe. My heart pounded so loud I thought the neighbors might hear. I didn't confront her that night. Couldn't. She was in the living room, laughing at something on her phone, blanket over her legs. I stood behind her for a moment, just watching. That smile, once a beacon in my life, now felt like a mask. She noticed me, smiled. "Hey, you okay?" "Yeah," I said, forcing it. "Just tired." She nodded, went back to her screen, and I walked away, every muscle straining to keep from shaking. That night, sleep was impossible. My mind looped the same thought. Maybe it's old. Maybe it's not hers. Maybe there's an explanation. But the more I thought, the less sense it made. We lived alone with our boys. No one else used our bathroom. Morning came. She hummed, made pancakes, acted as if nothing had happened. I watched her move, pretending, and something inside me started to harden. "Can I ask you something?" I said, voice unnaturally calm. She glanced at me, spatula in hand. "Sure. Did you take a pregnancy test?" Her eyes flicked up briefly, then she smiled. "What? No. Why would I?" I nodded slowly. That's what I thought. She turned back to the stove, but I saw the tremor in her hand. The rest of the morning passed like a scene from someone else's movie. I drove to work, but couldn't focus. The image of that test haunted me like a shadow in my rearview mirror. By lunch, I'd made up my mind. I called my doctor. "Can a vasectomy fail?" I asked. He paused. "Extremely rare," he said. "Less than 1% after confirmation testing." "Why?" "No reason." I lied. That evening, she sat on the couch scrolling again. I stood in front of her. "We need to talk," I said. Her smile faltered. "About what?" I didn't answer. I placed the pregnancy test on the coffee table. Color drained from her face. Silence filled the room. Finally, she whispered, "You went through the trash? That's what you're worried about?" I asked quietly. She swallowed, eyes darting everywhere but mine. "It's not what you think." "Then explain it," I said. But she didn't. She just shook her head, like words would only make it worse. That was the moment I knew. Not because she confessed she didn't have to. Truth is sometimes written across a face. The silence stretched, unbearable. I watched her fumble for words. Every excuse died on her lips. My heart wasn't racing. It was heavy, resigned. "Who is he?" I asked, voice steady. Tears welled. She shook her head. "It's not, it's complicated." "Complicated?" I repeated the word like poison. That's one way to describe cheating on your husband after he trusted you enough to end any chance of more kids. She buried her face in her hands. "I didn't mean for it to happen." I laughed, not for humor but because the absurdity hit me all at once. Didn't mean for it to happen. That's what people say when spilling coffee, not destroying a family. "How long?" I asked. Her voice broke. "A few months." I closed my eyes, air leaving my lungs. "And you were planning to tell me when?" She didn't answer. The quiet was her confession. "For years, I thought we were solid. Rough patches, sure. Who doesn't have them?" I worked long hours, provided stability, took pride in being a good husband and father. I never imagined becoming this man, betrayed, humiliated, trying to stay calm while life fell apart. When she finally looked up, her face streaked with tears. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "No," I said. "You're sorry you got caught." She reached out. I stepped back. The space between her hand and my chest felt like the true end. "I'll pack a bag," she said weakly. I nodded. "Do that." She left for her sisters that night. The kids were with grandparents, a small mercy. I spent the hours wandering the house. Kitchen where we danced after midnight. Living room where she'd sleep on my shoulder. Memories belonged to strangers. I didn't rage. I didn't throw things. I just sat in the dark, letting reality settle. Next morning, I went back to the doctor. He ran a post-vasectomy test, 100% effective. 0 sperm count. No possibility. Like a certificate of betrayal. I didn't call her. I didn't demand names. Sometimes knowing why doesn't heal. It just reshapes the pain. Instead, I called a lawyer. Later, she texted, short, pleading. "Can we talk, please?" I made a mistake. I replied with 3 words.